Movies, a couple hundred maybe, I'm not quite sure, because I also helped with television projects and commercial ad projects, some very large budgeted ones. I came across thousands of projects in 20 years. That doesn't mean that I ended up working on them, that they came with us, but I provided information to thousands of producers or production-related team members. I think anybody interested in locations can usually tell the difference between a studio set and a real location. And then you can get to the point of, yeah, they filmed it outside, but those trees don't exist at Lake Tahoe, so I know it didn't really film at Lake Tahoe. Or, yeah, that's Lake Tahoe, it looks just like it, what part is it? Or you just recognize it right away. I think you can tell the difference. Lighting and various other things are different. Since I started, obviously CGI has become a whole lot more. And even back when I was working, people said that will end location filming. We won't do any more location filming, we won't need to. Well, it's impacted it, but most projects will still have real locations. As I've been watching movies with the intent of writing about them all along, and I've seen so many, I probably think about it differently than if I wasn't doing any of that, and then most people. So I'm aware of it without realizing I'm aware of it. I don't go looking for it. When I'm watching the movie, I just want the movie to strike me as it does. Is that the way the director intended? I'm more curious about those types of things. I do, however, very much enjoy seeing locations in film. And I'll trace that back to what was the equivalent of CGI for its day, King Kong, which I loved watching because of the dinosaurs, and I knew those were fake. I knew they didn't live. But also it had the Empire State Building. Now in those days I lived across the bay on Long Island. And even though I was only 3 or 4 years old, we went into Manhattan, and I knew there was really an Empire State Building. And that, as much as dinosaurs affected me watching the movie, was King Kong's going up a real place. Of course, he didn't go up the real Empire State Building, but I was 3 or 4, what did I know? No, the idea of being, though, locations fascinated me from an early time. Where a movie is set interests me. It can play a character in the movie or just enhance the story so much. The Hangover in Las Vegas most recently, and well, there's others that have, but The Hangover created that whole, well, it didn't create, it was playing into what existed. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, party town and all of that. But it was a surprise hit. It did quite well, won a Golden Globe, and encouraged more people to go to Vegas to party. Martin Scorsese felt that it would help the whole ambiance if the crew really stayed there. Now, it's easy enough to build casino sets and that sort of thing, but he wanted everybody there. That was the longest shoot we've had in Nevada, about 100 days of filming. And the cast and crew stayed in Las Vegas, or the crew was from Las Vegas. They shot at a number of casinos throughout town, but Scorsese felt it would help the performances if everybody felt like they were part of Nevada. They shot at the Stardust, which is no longer, dressed it to be an older casino, 1970s style. Interestingly enough, Scorsese had one of the greatest production designers in the world, Dante Ferretti, doing the sets for it, and Dante would just put covers over the slot machines so they looked like they were from the 1950s, or 70s, excuse me, instead of the time they were filming in the 90s. There was a change in mindset around the mid-70s. When I first moved to Reno in 1976, the MGM Grand had just completed. They boasted 2,001 rooms, movie reference, but also the biggest hotel casino in the world. And then Reno just sort of stopped there. Well, Vegas picked up on some of that idea, but also showed more willingness to keep building more. They tried ideas that didn't quite work, like trying to make it a family town with kid adventures. And then they found, no, more of these themed hotels seem to be pulling it and make them giant, giant, giant. It was easy to get to from LA, a 1-hour flight. Reno has always been a little more difficult to get to. So just some shifting dynamics of culture happened, I'd say, after the mid-70s.